My husband of 4 years has become increasingly involved with his help for his pregnant single coworker, and I feel like something is seriously amiss, but he says what he is doing is normal and that I'm just a selfish person. My 31F husband, 33M, has worked with Kelsey, 23F, for the last 2 years, and I never thought anything about their relationship was strange until now. For the past 5 months, the amount of time that has passed since my husband found out that Kelsey was pregnant, he has gone out of his way to support her in a way that makes me uncomfortable. I might be able to understand his actions if they weren't so extreme, but they mostly strike me as downright strange and out of character for him. For one, when he found out she was pregnant, he came to me and asked if he could give her $1,000 to help her with some of her expenses. He said that Kelsey's baby's father was out of the picture and she was struggling. I don't know Kelsey personally, but I can sympathize with her situation. I agreed to let him write her a check for $250. I did think this was odd, though, because my husband has never been all that charitable. I've never known him to be the type of person who goes out of his way to help a coworker or a stranger, but whatever. A few weeks later, my husband came to me and again asked if we could help Kelsey out. This time he wanted to buy a pram for Kelsey. The one he had picked out was quite expensive, so I wasn't comfortable just giving him the okay. We spent about a week discussing it before we finally agreed to purchase a cheaper one for her. This came after he asked her if the second one would be okay. I took this opportunity to ask him how much more money he wanted to spend on Kelsey and her baby. We had already spent $500 on them at this point, and I was starting to get concerned. We had a fight about this where he accused me of being selfish. He said that he was trying to do a good deed for someone and that he thought I would be happy to support a young mother-to-be like Kelsey and her baby. I did feel a little guilty afterward, so I backed off. Fast forward to last week. I found out after the fact that my husband had bought a $150 gift card to Babies R Us for Kelsey as a Christmas present. We had another fight about how much money he's spending on her and her baby, and again he accused me of being stingy. I asked him how much more he planned to spend, and he told me that he didn't know. I asked him if he could see how this situation could make me uncomfortable and how it might lead me to think something was going on between them. He said that he was disappointed that I would think his good deed was anything other than him trying to help a coworker. He has been giving me the silent treatment since that fight and making passive-aggressive comments, which is frustrating. I can't get him to understand that my concerns are legitimate. Besides, it's not like we have the ability to keep spending this kind of money on Kelsey. In addition to spending money, my husband has also spent a lot of time helping Kelsey in other ways. He spent time fixing up things around her apartment before the baby comes and doing odd jobs for her. All of this makes me extremely uncomfortable, but anytime I bring it up he accuses me of trying to stop him from helping someone in need of assistance, or of being greedy. He won't acknowledge what I think is very worrisome behavior. At this point, I wonder what I'm supposed to do. I think he really is trying to do a good deed, but part of me worries that something else is happening. I don't want to believe he would cheat on me. He's never given me a reason to suspect this, but I can't help but wonder sometimes, especially when he's gone with Kelsey to her OB/GYN appointments on 2 occasions, though he claimed it was because she needed a ride. Does he have a point? Am I being selfish for hassling him over helping Kelsey? How should I try to get him to understand that his behavior is making me uncomfortable? I'm not sure how I should handle this situation. Nothing seems to be working. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Sounds like she's pregnant with his child, to be honest. Ops response. It does seem like that could be true. The only thing is, he's never given me reason to suspect him of cheating. No late nights at work. No business trips. No other odd behavior. Commenter 2. Does Kelsey even know you exist? She's definitely pregnant with your husband's child. The only questions are, has he been lying to her about his marital status, and are you going to make him be truthful when he tells women 10+ years younger than him he's single? Ops response. I don't know. I always assumed she knew I existed. Commenter 3. You know, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't do this, but I would cut all the BS and contact Kelsey directly. Your husband clearly isn't being honest. He hid the gift card from you, and he thinks he's getting away with it by trying to make you feel like you're being greedy. If you confront him, he's going to continue making you feel like you're crazy. That's called gaslighting. I'd love to think there's an innocent explanation for this, but no one I've ever known has spent over $50 on a coworker's baby, let alone $750, and has plans to spend more. I would seriously say to her, is my husband the father of your baby? He's gone with you to your appointments, helped set up your apartment, and given you $750. That's a lot of money and time to spend on someone who is only a coworker, so I'm sure you can understand my concern. Update 1 week later. Since many of you asked for an update and you were kind enough to offer advice, I have decided to give one. The first thing I did after making my initial post was to confront my husband directly again. I asked him point blank if he was so involved with Kelsey's pregnancy because he was the father of her child. He denied it. I then asked him to introduce me to Kelsey since he had given her money that belonged to both of us. When I mentioned this, he got very defensive and accused me of being insecure. I responded by saying that I at least had a right to know the person I was helping and that he shouldn't have a problem with me meeting Kelsey if nothing was going on between them. He then told me that he wasn't going to introduce us and that I needed to work on my jealousy issues. I decided to contact Kelsey the next day. I found her, or at least the woman I thought was her, through a mutual friend's Facebook page. I sent her a message telling her who I was. I explained to her why I was concerned about her relationship with my husband and requested that she please let me know if she was having my husband's baby. She sent me a very nasty message back. I will spare you many of the details. The basic gist was that I was old and unattractive and unable to satisfy my husband, so he found someone better, i.e., Kelsey. Among other things, she claimed that the baby was my husband's and that he was planning to leave me but felt sorry for me and couldn't bring himself to do it. She ended the message by telling me that I should let him go so they could be together. It hurt a lot to read that message. It still hurts me to think about it. I confronted my husband that same night. I showed him the message. He got really quiet and admitted that she was telling the truth but denied telling her all of the horrible things she said about me. He said getting her pregnant was a mistake and he was only trying to do the right thing by her and the baby. He denied that they were still sleeping together and said he wanted to stay with me and have a baby with me. I have no idea if either of these things are true. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Everything has happened so fast. A couple of days have passed now, and I'm still thinking things over. He wants us to go to counseling to try to work through this, but I don't think I'm interested in working on our marriage. It would be hard for me to get past this if he had cheated, but the fact that he may be having a child with this woman makes it harder. If I stay with him, she's always going to be in our lives. I have thought about waiting until we can do a paternity test to make a final decision, but I don't know if I want to do that either. It may be easier if I just make the change now. I have started looking for divorce attorneys. Most of my family and friends have told me I need to get out of this marriage, and each day I get closer to making that move. I just need a bit more time before I'm ready to make a decision. /relevant comments. Commenter. He has shown you who he is, believe him. He is the man who will cheat on you, who will lie to you, who will get someone else pregnant, and who will use your money to support this other woman. What kind of life could you two have together now? First, this woman, who hates you, will always be in it. Second, he has a child he needs to take responsibility for. That means you may be caring for another woman's child, or at the very least, a significant part of your household income will go to support this child. He made so many choices that have brought him to this point. Now you need to make yours. Know that you deserve better. Contact a lawyer and begin divorce proceedings. There's a better future that awaits you, I promise. Commenter 2. The basic gist was that I was old and unattractive and unable to satisfy my husband, so he found someone better. Whatever you do, please do not take this woman's words to heart. She is an awful human being, and your husband is as well. Ops response. It's hard not to take them to heart. She is younger and much more attractive than I am. I can't help but feel she is right to some degree. Commenter 3. Something to remember about her words is that she is lashing out in anger at you for her own mistakes. Your husband was going to hide his affair until he died and was never planning on leaving you. Then this baby came along. She has probably been begging your husband to leave you, and he won't. He doesn't love her, and she is mad at you for that. Her words are just trying to cover up her own wounds of not being good enough. Ops response. I never thought about it that way. Commenter 4. You should have. You know what makes you feel awful? When an older coworker wants to have sex with you but doesn't want a relationship with you and just wants to pay you money to stay quiet. She's 23, knows she was second string to your husband, and now is pregnant, something that takes her off the market and makes her life a life of responsibility. And now that she's in that position, the father of her child is already married and isn't choosing her. So then you contact her and ask what's going on. What's her best option? She wants to make you feel as awful as possible. She wants you to hate your husband and leave him. She wants nothing more than to see you suffer because she's jealous that you have the man she wants and the freedom she no longer has. So what can she insult you on? Age? Looks? Cranky wife cliches? That's all she's got. Because right now, she's a 23-year-old who's pregnant with a married coworker's baby. She can't exactly insult you over your poor choices in life. This girl is a vile person, but she's also the loser in your story. She has to live life now with a man she cheated with, who didn't want to leave his wife for her, but the wife dumped him so he settles for her. She, the pretty-go-lucky party girl, has to raise a kid at 23 with a guy she barely knows. And she gets to live the rest of her life knowing she's a homewrecker. Don't take her words to heart, not just because she's an awful person, but because she's bitter. When's the last time you saw someone willing to say such mean things who's happy, much less correct about what they're mean about? When a person screams at a server in a restaurant and calls them a useless piece of crap, do you think they're actually a piece of crap? Sure, they may have actually dropped a glass of water, but are they truly useless? No. Because the person screaming is angry, sad, and just wants to hurt the person they think has slighted them. So don't take a second glance at what she has to say. Dump your husband and let him lie in the grave he's dug, fathering a child with an immature and bitter girl who he barely knows. Find a guy with a future, they're out there, and never look back, because you're so much better than whatever burning house they're about to settle down in. Final comment from Op. I'm not going to stay with him. As soon as I'm able, I'll file for divorce.